This has been heavy on my spirit ever since God told me last night. I have another video I'm editing, but apparently this word cannot wait, so I'm going to bring it to you all. I hope it blesses you and encourages you. And also, I've been wanting to say, I'm so thankful for all of you who leave your comments and your likes, who subscribe, but more importantly, y'all who let me know that this is confirmation, what I'm saying, because it's not as easy as it looks. It's not as easy as I thought it would be, but it's definitely worth it, especially when I read through all of y'all's comments. Earlier in the year, I had a dream, and God wants me to share it with y'all. I was trying to record this video for like 30-40 minutes last night, and the phone just kept cutting off. The recording app that I used kept closing. I would think I'm recording and I would look at my phone, and I've been talking for 5-10 minutes and it's not even recording. I know that's nothing but the enemy. I never had a problem with this app before. Never ran across that type of problem. But I've most definitely found that when it comes to seeing certain things on the internet, YouTube, these cell phones, iPhones, Satan will try to come and rob that word. But the devil is an entire lie. Nothing is going to stop God's truth. Like I said, I had this dream earlier this year, and it was one of those dreams where you remember key moments in it, but you can't remember the dream in its entirety. Last night, I was talking to God, just doing some things around the house. He brought that dream back to my memory, but I only remembered the dream in partial. Like I said, little key moments. God then brought back to my memory the whole dream. I was able to remember exactly what happened in the dream. So starting from the beginning, I was working at this fast food restaurant in the dream. I got the impression in the dream that I really didn't want to be working there. I really felt like I deserved more or could be doing more. But at the same time, I was just happy and honored to be working, to have a job, and to at least be doing something. So much so that I gave my all, I put effort into my job. So the first thing I recall in the dream is me working in a fast food restaurant, diligently working, and in walks this guy, and in my mind he is like a regional manager or some sort of higher up. When he gets there, I remember smiling at him, greeting him. He was a very sweet, polite guy, and we began doing things around the restaurant. It was almost as if he was like trying to gain information on me as an employee. And at first, I thought that he was just coming to inspect me, but towards the end, I noticed how he just kept making it his business to ask me questions and basically inspect my character. Then it switches in the dream to I'm behind the counter working, and the guy walks in. And in that moment when he walks in and I look up, it's like it hit me. I got the suspicion that he was an undercover boss from that show, Undercover Boss, which is a show that I used to absolutely love watching as a kid. I used to love seeing what the CEOs and business owners would give to their hardworking employees who had absolutely no idea that they were even being tested. So I remember in the dream looking up and thinking, wait a minute. Like, I was so in shock, so surprised. I remember feeling like, wait, me? And I was recalling everything that had happened between me and the man, all the questions he had asked me, and things of that sort. Then it switched to me watching this girl work at a mechanic shop with that same guy. She had a really poor attitude. She didn't take her job seriously. You could tell that it really didn't make her any difference whether or not the company succeeded, the company's reputation, let alone her own reputation in the company. All of a sudden it switches, and instead of her working there, I'm working there. I come into work and the guy greets me. I don't remember him saying anything, but in the spirit I felt as though he was honoring me as the employee of the month. I felt like all of the hard work that I had been putting in, all the effort that I had been putting in, not expecting anything in return or not doing it for what I can gain, being honored. Then I'm looking around in this room that we're in, and on the wall it says Peter blank, Peter and a last name. I know that it was the guy's name in the dream. And on another portion of the wall there was 99,000 on like a plaque, as to say that that was my reward, or that was what he was giving me for my hard work. And then the dream was over. All this time I had no idea what that dream meant. I just figured that God was saying possibly that I had a lot of money coming my way. Honestly, that's all that I could read into, and that's all that I could see until last night. Once God reminded me of the full dream, he then began ministering to me what the dream meant. Previously, around the time when I initially had the dream, I looked up the name meaning of Peter, and it means the rock. God is referred to as the rock, a refuge, etc. in the Bible. So I know that God represented God in the dream. When Peter, or God, came to me, walked up to me in the dream, I was hard at work. I was diligently at work. I was working the little that I had and putting my all in it. I didn't see it as something beneath me. I was working with a purpose and working with the proper spirit. God is saying he has sent angels and he has sent watchmen to study you. Throughout your lifetime, you didn't realize that people were watching you. God had placed angels in your path to watch you. You didn't realize that when you were in certain situations that didn't look like God, situations that looked like spiritual warfare, situations that looked like attacks, you didn't realize that you were actually being studied by God. You didn't realize that the warfare you were experiencing was actually an experiment. I remember in the dream, me and the guy took a long walk down the shopping strip. It was like a camera was recording us for the TV show as we were walking, but yet I could see myself talking to the guy, absolutely having no idea what was going on. God is saying you have been in close relationship with him, and you are a lot closer to God than you even realize. God is saying that he took the time out to study you. God says that he knows you. Look up the definition of know. To know something means to study it. God is saying that he's been paying attention to you. He's seen all the hard work that you've put in. He's seen your dedication. He's seen your effort. He's seen your fight. When the guy came in and I looked up, and in that moment I realized that I was on the show Undercover Boss, I got the sense that I shouldn't say anything. Of course, on the show, if you've seen it before, when an employee suspects that they're being recorded, they tell that employee, you're right, that is what's going on, but please, if you could just not say anything. God is saying for a lot of us, we are now waking up to the fact that God has seen us. For a lot of us, we are waking up to the fact that God has been studying us, that we weren't just an afterthought on the back burner during our wilderness, during our slow seasons. It's beginning to now hit you what's going on and what has been going on this entire time. Me having the inkling to not say anything symbolizes God not wanting us to speak on what it is that he's doing in our lives, and to keep a closed mouth unless instructed otherwise. God says I was working at a fast food restaurant because fast food restaurants are known to be minimum wage, a job that high schoolers work, or a job that people who don't have education work. It's something that you see as a startup. It's not something that you see as the finish. It's not something that you see as a prized job. It's something that a lot of people would flare their nose up at. It's not something that's really respected. If you tell someone, I work at McDonald's, I work at Subway, I work at Burger King, they don't really take that seriously. Also, a fast food restaurant produces things fast, speedily. God is saying, while you were hard at work, while you were doing the things that they didn't want to do, while you were doing the things that they were judging you for, while you were doing the things that got you laughed at, you were hard at work. God seen you hard at work. You didn't realize the effort that you were putting in, the things that you were doing, how much of an impact it was actually making. You didn't realize it ignited your blessing. It ignited your recompense. It ignited God's spirit. God says when the dream switched to the girl and Peter working at the mechanic shop, the mechanic shop represented being on the move, or things happening fast, things moving quickly in and out, things going from one thing to another place, like a transition. The girl having a poor attitude and not caring about her job represented people not taking their work, their walk, their faith seriously. Just like the word says, the harvest is plenty and the laborers are few. God was wanting me to see a representation of how people treat what it is that He has given them, or how people neglect God's purpose for their lives. She was causing the business to lose money. She was constantly late to work. She was more of a hinder than a benefit. But God moved her out the way. Just like I said in one of my previous videos, God is doing a shift of spiritual authority. God is removing those who were not diligently seeking Him in their walk, in their purpose, in their kingdom business, and replacing them with those who he has trusted with a little and now can trust with a lot. I was recognized as Employee of the Month. God is recognizing you. God is recognizing your work that you have done. A lot of us don't realize how much we actually do for the kingdom, how much we actually do for God's people. I remember feeling like, wait, me? All of this for me? The end of the vision, where I seen the number 99,000, represented a recompense or a payment. In the dream, I was working at the fast food restaurant. I was thinking about what could being on the show Undercover Boss possibly bring me, because I knew that I needed a car. I knew that I needed a house. I knew I needed provision to start my business. So when I seen the 99,000, I was just mind blown. You don't need 99,000 to get a car. You don't need 99,000 to get a house. You don't need 99,000 to start a business. That's more than enough. That's exceedingly and abundantly. That's God's favor. The name Peter was up on the wall because God wanted me to correlate the blessing with Him. God wanted me to correlate the unexpected blessing with Him. A lot of us are walking into unexpected blessings, unexpected things that aren't going to appear like they're God. They won't be sinful. They won't be of the world. That's not what I'm saying. But they would just be nothing like what you imagine God would give you and trust you with or have you doing. And God is going to provide. He's going to bring the provision. And when He brings that provision, it's going to be way more than you need. It's going to be that plus more. Your working has not been in vain. Your dedication has been seen. God has studied it. And those who cry in the field will sing and rejoice during the harvest.